Legacy Precious Metals is the company that I trust to give you good and patient counsel for investing in your retirement. The Biden administration has caused a financial crisis, and they have no clue how to fix it. Oil prices have skyrocketed, and when oil prices go up, not only do your expenses go up, but the cost of transportation and shipping spikes, leading the prices of goods to rise. And we are already seeing record inflation. That's the last thing that we need. Our economy is in trouble, and you need to take steps to protect yourself. If all your money is tied up in stocks, bonds, and traditional markets, you may be vulnerable. So gold is one of the very best ways to protect your retirement. No matter what happens, you own your own gold. It's real, it's physical, and it's always been valuable since the dawn of time. Call Legacy Precious Metals today at 866-528-1903 or visit them online at legacypminvestments.com. That's legacypminvestments.com, where you can download the free investor's guide. You can also go to my Facebook page, Jenna Ellis. I am a public figure on Facebook, and I just posted yesterday a really great interview with the president of Legacy Precious Metals, who is discussing why you need to start your retirement account even if you're in your 20s or 30s. There is always a great time to protect your retirement and invest, just like you want to protect your health over the long term. So go to Legacy Precious Metals at legacypminvestments.com or call 866-528-1903.
As a constitutional law attorney, former senior legal advisor, and personal counsel to President Donald J. Trump, Jenna Ellis believes in the rule of law and the importance of integrity in our elections. And she's ready to tackle the big cultural and legal issues facing America. This is the Jenna Ellis Show. Here is your host, Jenna Ellis.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Jenna Ellis Show. And of course, we have all been concerned about the threat of World War III and nuclear Armageddon. This is insane that we're even having to talk about this seriously and not just in the context of some kind of post-apocalyptic world. But there is a new documentary that is actually suggesting that Washington can do something about our power grid before it is too late. So the director of this movie will join me in a moment. But before we get there, watch the trailer for Grid Down, Power Up.
The electricity grid goes down. You're back in the 1880s, pre-electricity.
If 1,000 transformers are knocked out, we'll end up with massive social disruption.
Top former energy official claims an attack on an American power grid was terrorism.
Virtually every study you'll see has an anarchistic component that leads to rioting. It is almost inevitable.
Imagine what will happen if there is no food, no power, and no money, and no transportation. Only people with guns and the boldness to go and take what they need to survive will live.
It could literally end civilization as we know it.
Cyber attack, an EMP, even a massive solar flare. They're all capable of exposing our power grid as America's Achilles heel.
Of particular concern to me are people who believe it's God's will to destroy us.
Our electric power grids are as vulnerable to cyber attack as the thousands upon thousands of businesses, companies, government agencies that have already been hacked over the last few months. It's not a question of if, it's just a question of when.
We spend $800 billion on our military.
And we're not willing to spend $50 to $100 billion to protect our society?
An EMP pulse is a very dangerous threat. If you're not nuclear hardened, it will shut down any digital computer that is operating in the range of the EMP.
Other countries have appointed a single champion to be in charge of protecting their electric grids.
We know what needs to be done. It's just a matter of a will to do it.
All right, so joining me now is the producer and director of Grid Down Power Up, David Tice. So David, this movie looks incredibly important. I can't wait to see it. And it seems incredibly timely as well when everyone is talking about the possibility of, a nuclear war or World War III. What can people expect to learn from this movie?
Well, I think they're going to be shocked and they're going to be surprised and then they're going to be disturbed. And then I take the viewers through a range of emotions. At the end, they're going to be ticked off, but then they're going to feel a little bit patriotic. And then hopefully they're going to be moved to take action because we can fix this.
Yeah, well, that's exactly the roller coaster of the typical Hollywood drama, but hopefully this one will end in a call to action. And so, as we're looking at the problems with the power grid and, kind of the left's push toward all of these different green options, is their solution the one that you're advocating for or something else?
No, the green solution is certainly not a solution at all. In fact, going all with solar and wind actually creates more problems, more instability in the grid, all going to EVs. Our grid is not ready for that. And I should follow on a little bit more. What people should expect with this film is they're going to get a layout of the 4 major risks to the power grid going down. And we're not worried about a 2 or 3 day outage that's inconvenient. We're talking about an outage that could last 9 months to 2 years, where as many as 90% of Americans could die.
Wow. And that would be just beyond words devastating. And, at least from the preview of this, you have a guest on there who's saying it's not a matter of if, but when. And so, as we look at global instability, as we look at all of the things in the news cycle, are these the types of occurrences that were anticipated leading up to this film, or what are the major triggers and possibilities of this actually occurring?
Okay, so I can lay out the 4 different risks we talk about in the film. One is a physical attack. The second one is an electromagnetic pulse attack, which is essentially a nuclear blast in the atmosphere that can create a gamma waves that will knock out electronics and would knock out the transformers in our substations. Then the third is a geomagnetic disturbance, or a coronal mass ejection, which is essentially a natural EMP coming from the sun. And then the fourth attack could be a cyber attack. Now, 3 of those attacks could come from state actors. The physical attack could really come from a terrorist group. And then the geomagnetic disturbance obviously comes from a natural occurrence, but our scientists have told us it's only a matter of when, not if, it is going to occur.
Wow. And I think a lot of people like myself are going, I had no idea that we had this level of vulnerability that could last for to an outage that would be, 9 months or 2 years. We all saw what happened in Texas when they had the power outage just for a few days, and how devastating that was to the state, and how, we've seen other outages and other instances, where people aren't able to plug in their electric vehicles, for example. And so obviously that's not a sustainable solution. And so, is anyone in Washington actually concerned about this, or what is really the focus and emphasis in terms of actually leading to some of these solutions? Because you do offer solutions in the film, and I don't want to give away the ending, but this isn't something that we're saying, that doom and gloom is happening and there's nothing to do to prevent it.
So there are equipment measures that can be taken to be able to protect the substations, and really the substations are potentially the Achilles heel. Now, government has tried to attack this before. Donald Trump passed an executive order, and then that was codified into law in the 2020 National Defense Authorization Act. Actually, Barack Obama tried to get solar storm measures passed. But then the problem has been government. It's happened inside the bureaucracy, and frankly, our utilities have not done as much as they should have done.
It seems like everything always goes back to the problem is Washington. And unfortunately, our government isn't serving us best. And so what about a cybersecurity risk? Because I know that that's a huge element that you talk about as well. And there have been a lot of things in the news recently about vulnerabilities to cybersecurity attacks, not just to the obviously our financial banking system and other things, but now you're suggesting to the power grid as well. What do those types of things look like, and how could we circumvent that?
So Ted Koppel actually wrote a book called Lights Out back in the 2015, 2016 timeframe, and he talked about the vulnerability of the grid going down from a cyber attack. We actually had Secretary of Energy Jennifer Granholm, currently serving under Joe Biden, was asked on a Sunday talk show about if our adversaries are in the grid and if they could shut down the grid. And she said, yes, they could. And therefore, that is a concern for malware, that there could be back doors. And we actually there's 200 transformers from China that are currently in the grid. And hard to say what kind of back doors might exist there. And therefore, if our transformers go out, and as few as 9 substations going out, if they're at critical nodes, could actually knock out the entire grid.
Wow, that is incredible. And it's shocking to me, but it also isn't shocking how much our government has relied on China for so much of our infrastructure and has intentionally, it seems like, created these vulnerabilities, or maybe they're just completely reckless and they don't want to see these types of vulnerabilities or allow for them. So what got you interested in making a project like this? Because like I said, I mean, it's so timely and so relevant, and I think everybody should see this movie.
Well, I've been a geopolitical junkie for, probably a couple decades. I'm a believer in prepare for the worst, hope for the best, leave God to the rest. And frankly, there have been a lot of what I call grid warriors working on trying to alert people to this vulnerability for a couple decades. And I've been somewhat of a filmmaker in the past, really more of a check writer than a filmmaker, but I was called to allocate some resources and time to finish a film that had already been started and utilize the power of film to wake people up. And I'm trying to convert this movie into a movement, and I think I can get that done.
Yeah, well, awesome. And, I think that this type of medium needs to be more utilized and harnessed by conservatives and by people who are, who are looking at projects like this and vulnerabilities and informing our culture of things. Because it seems like only the Hollywood leftists use movies and documentaries to advance their agenda and their movements and get support. So I'm really grateful to see people like you doing this. So you can go to griddownpowerup.com. And where else can people find this documentary and also support you and get involved in the movement?
Well, we will eventually be shown on EarthX TV. So we're signing a contract with them as well. They're on a number of cable stations. Right now, we just plan on showing it from our website at Grid Down Power Up. The other thing I want to say is we actually have the mechanisms by which you can just enter your home address, a few clicks of your mouse, and you will be able to send letters and a petition and make phone calls to your state legislators, your U.S. congressperson, your 2 U.S. senators, your governor, actually FERC and NERC regulators, and even the board of directors of some of your public utilities.
That's awesome. And, the power of people's voices is incredibly important. I know from my own state legislators that I've talked to, they say if they get even 10 phone calls or letters on an issue, they pay attention. If they get 100, then it's really important. It's amazing how so many people talk about things, but they don't actually engage the process. So people need to start engaging on these important issues. David Tice, really appreciate your time. And I hope that everyone goes to Grid Down Power Up, watch the documentary, get involved. All of these things are so important to making sure that we just preserve not only, our economy, everything else in America, but now also our power grid. I mean, these are things that we all need to take initiative and be responsible for. So David Tice, really appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you, Jan.
Legacy Precious Metals is the company that I trust to give you good and patient counsel for investing in your retirement. The Biden administration has caused a financial crisis, and they have no clue how to fix it. Oil prices have skyrocketed, and when oil prices go up, not only do your expenses go up, but the cost of transportation and shipping spikes, leading the prices of goods to rise. And we are already seeing record inflation. That's the last thing that we need. Our economy is in trouble, and you need to take steps to protect yourself. If all your money is tied up in stocks, bonds, and traditional markets, you may be vulnerable. So gold is one of the very best ways to protect your retirement. No matter what happens, you own your own gold. It's real, it's physical, and it's always been valuable since the dawn of time. Call Legacy Precious Metals today at 866-528-1903 or visit them online at legacypminvestments.com. That's legacypminvestments.com, where you can download the free investor's guide. You can also go to my Facebook page, Jenna Ellis. I am a public figure on Facebook, and I just posted yesterday a really great interview with the president of Legacy Precious Metals, who is discussing why you need to start your retirement account even if you're in your 20s or 30s. There is always a great time to protect your retirement and invest, just like you want to protect your health over the long term. So go to Legacy Precious Metals at legacypminvestments.com or call 866-528-1903. MyPillow is having their biggest sheet sale of the year. You all have helped build MyPillow into the amazing company that it is today. Now Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO, wants to give back exclusively to you, his listeners. The Percale bed sheet set is available in a variety of colors and sizes, and they are all on sale. So for example, the queen size is regularly priced at $89.98, but is now only $39.98 with our listener promo code Jenna, Jenna. So order now, because when they're gone, they're gone. The Percale bed sheets are breathable and have a cool and crisp feel. These come with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee, so don't miss out on this incredible offer. There's a limited supply, so be sure to order now. You can call 1-800-564-8475 and use the promo code Jenna, or go to mypillow.com/Jenna. You can click on the radio listeners square and use the promo code Jenna. That's Jenna. Thank you so much to all of Mike Lindell's listeners and listeners of this podcast for making sure to support MyPillow and using our exclusive listener promo code Jenna. That's Jenna.